Hey guys, so last week I have received one comment on one of my YouTube video where he said he wanted to know more about the Hindi audiobooks. So I have, I'm a kind of a big fan of audiobook and I listen a lot of audiobooks. So in this video we are going to talk about 7 Hindi audiobooks that you should definitely try or which are easy to read, easy to understand and that you are gonna enjoy. Obviously in the Hindi audiobook there are very limited source or very limited audiobooks available, but still if you are new to the audiobook section or if you are new to the book, then make sure you go check out these 7 audiobooks that you will definitely you're gonna enjoy. First and obviously the best and the well known audiobook is none other than The Alchemist. Alchemist, if you are just starting out with the audiobook or even if you are starting with the books, The Alchemist is definitely a good book. I won't say it is one of the best book that will change your life and everything and blah blah blah. It's obviously depends on person to person कि आप किस situation में हो, what you are doing, and on that basis this book is going to determine whether you are going to like it or not. Alchemist is a classic novel of the boy named Sheringo and उसकी जर्नी के बारे में, उसके लाइफ के बारे में, वो ट्रेजर ढूंढने के लिए he goes to travel to the world just to find the treasure, and what happens at the end it's kind of very interesting, but it's more about his journey. On this journey he go to the Egypt, he met different kind of people, he tried to understand the situation, वो वहाँ पे काम करता है, वो थोड़ी बहुत चीज़ें सेल आउट करता है just to find the treasure, and it's a classic story about how to find yourself rather than finding the treasure. I'm not going to talk about the end obviously because a lot of people already know what is in the end of the Alchemist book. It's all about that one thing. If I want to talk about, if I want to give the glimpse about it, it's all about finding yourself. It's all about, you have that but you don't know that. It's a kind of that kind of a thing in this book, and The Alchemist by the Paulo Coelho is definitely a good book to start your journey with the audiobooks or start your journey with the book. This audiobook is available in Hindi. That's why it's one of the great thing. Obviously the English audiobook is also good, but if you are a person who are hard to understand English, then Hindi audiobook you should definitely go and try. The next audiobook that I want to talk about is Man's Search for Meaning. So the Man's Search for Meaning, it's about the Nazi concentration camp and उसके life में क्या क्या हुआ था, what happened in the Nazi concentration camp, and उसकी he tried to explain everything and how to live your life. He talk about psychotherapeutic method and his method to understand the life and how to look at the life positively even if you are in the worst situation, and he talks about like 3 different methods that you should know to enjoy your life, and he majorly talks about the attitude, like what should be your attitude, how should be your attitude, and a lot about that. So Man's Search for a Meaning, a definitely good book, a non-fiction good book if you are struggling with your life, if you have kind of feel like you have low self esteem and you want to know more about how to deal with it in a better way. So it's more about attitude, so you should definitely go check out Man's Search for Meaning audiobook. The next one is one of the famous author, the Robin Sharma ki book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So basically the monk who sold his Ferrari, as name suggests, it's not about the monk and sold his Ferrari and blah blah blah. It's about a lawyer Julian जिसके लाइफ में बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम चल रहे होते, उसको सॉल्यूशन नहीं पता होता, शी इज़ लिविंग वेरी हार्ड लाइफ, लाइक वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस नहीं है, ओवर थिंकिंग, लॉट ऑफ एंजाइटी, डिप्रेशन, मोर अबाउट दैट स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी ऑफ डिस्कवरिंग योर सेल्फ. This book is also kind of a good book, and this is also available in Hindi audiobook on the Audible. You should definitely go check out this Audible because it's gonna help you with a lot of things. I remember one of the incident from this book which says that your mind is your garden. Like अगर आपके पास घर पे कोई गार्डन है, आप उसमें हर किसी को नहीं आने दोगे. लाइक देर आर फ्यू पीपल, हर बर्ड, हर केज, उसमें हर किसी को नहीं आने दोगे. यू विल नॉट invite pig in your garden. So same way your mind is your garden, your brain is your garden. So try to think about that कि आप हर किसी person को अपने दिल में आने दोगे. If you kind of invite everyone, then the garden will be no more. So it's one of those छोटे छोटे lessons इस book में है that gonna help you to understand your life better. So The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, also the good audiobook. The narration is also good and it's a very short, easy to understand, easy to finish audiobook. The another audiobook by the same author is Who Will Cry When You Die. Well, this book audiobook is also available in Hindi, and the reason I love this book, it's not about कि आप ये starting से शुरू करनी चाहिए, book end में finish करनी चाहिए, ऐसा इस book बारे में कुछ नहीं. This book is collection of short stories or the short lessons that are gonna help you in your life. It's more about how to discover your calling, how to find the passion, how to deal with the problem, how to who will cry when you die, as a name suggests उसमें एक topic भी है, who will cry when you die. You have to think about that, how to discover your calling, how to be the best. So these are the so many short short topics that are covered in this book, Who Will Cry When You Die. It's a very short and thin book. Even the audiobook is really small. You can finish that audiobook in less than one day, but it's a really good book because it's available in Hindi, and Hindi is something that you guys definitely love. So make sure you go check out Who Will Cry When You Die. Next Hindi audiobook is Think and Grow Rich. I have read this book. I have recommended this to book many times, many times. It's a kind of a great book. Like as the name suggests, Think and Grow Rich. So it's basically a collection of 20 years of journey जिसने 500 इंडिविजुअल्स का इंटरव्यू लिया था एंड उनके लाइफ में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम थे उसको उसने अंडरस्टैंड करके इस बुक को कंपाइल किया था एंड दिस बुक इज ऑल अबाउट दैट काइंड ऑफ बाइबल फॉर इन्वेस्टिंग एंड द ग्रोइंग योर मनी एंड ग्रोइंग योर लाइफ. This book contains 13 different habits like desire, planning, imagination, then dealing with a lot of stuff. That kind of 13 different chapters which talks about your life and which you need in your life. So it's definitely a good audiobook that you should go and listen. Think and Grow Rich. It's a kind of a short, so you're gonna finish it a really way, and it's a kind of motivating also. Like I remember listening to this audiobook 2 years back, and I still know the voice of the narrator. I know the कैसे कैसे उसने बात की थी, क्या क्या चीज़ें एक्सप्लेन की थी, examples and a lot. So definitely a good audiobook, Think and Grow Rich. The next audiobook is a Sapiens. Sapiens is basically one of the great book, I will say, to understand the humankind. हमें हमारी लाइफ के बारे में पता होता है, बट वेयर वी आर टुडे फ्रॉम वेयर, एक पॉइंट से हम यहाँ तक कैसे आ गए, ये जर्नी हम सबको किसी को पता नहीं है. एंड टू नो मोर अबाउट दैट जर्नी, दिस बुक इज गोना हेल्प यू अ लॉट. तो सेपियंस इज मोर अबाउट लास्ट 10,000 years ऑफ जर्नी, जिसमें ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी कैसे इन्वॉल्व हुई, then a lot of human कैसे involved हुए, then how they discovered the food, how they discovered the medicine, how they discovered a lot of topics about the humankind, how they came across the technology, how they a lot of problems, how they dealt with that. A lot of that kind of stuff you are gonna find in the book called the Sapiens. And the reason ये बुक हिंदी में, ऑडियो बुक हिंदी में थोड़े वर्ड्स थोड़े डिफरेंट होते हैं, विच माइट यू फील when you talk about little bit of intimacy, then kind of sex topics, that kind of stuff, then that becomes little bit different to to understand or to listen. But that's a good stuff. If you are mostly into the Hindi, then you're gonna definitely enjoy the Sapien audiobook. I have listened to this book on both English and the Hindi language also, and I know the difference. That's the reason I'm saying that it feels little bit odd or different to listen to this Hindi in the Hindi audiobook. But if you are mostly Hindi person, then you should definitely go and listen to this audiobook. It's just amazing to understand your past, to understand your last 10,000 years of journey. And the last audiobook that I want to talk about is Siddhartha. Obviously there are other audiobooks that I'm currently listening, but probably I will make another video on the short Hindi audiobook someday. But Siddhartha is something, a really good book. It's too more about understanding yourself, knowing yourself in the journey. So Siddhartha, don't go with the name. Siddhartha is not a Gautam Buddha. Siddhartha is not any Indian god. It's just more about to know more about the journey. It's all about the story between the World War I. जब हरमन हेस यानी कि author of this book, he traveled to the India and he wanted to understand the journey. He wanted to know how the Indian function works, spiritual journey, a lot that kind of stuff. So Siddhartha is a book जो कि हिंदी में अवेलेबल है. Again you might feel थोड़ा सा different to listening to this book because again हिंदी में उसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे words है कि जो आपने शायद कभी कभी सुने होंगे या जो शायद सुनने में थोड़े से अलग लगते होंगे. द सेम विद द सेपियंस, लाइक व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द पॉर्न, सेक्स टॉपिक्स, दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टफ, this book is also talk about little bit about that kind of stuff, and you might try to connect Gautam Buddha, Siddhartha with this topic. Please do not try to connect that. Go with the blank slate, go with the empty mind, and then try to understand the narrator, try to understand कि ये book किस बारे में, then and then only you gonna definitely enjoy this audiobook. So these are the pretty much about the Hindi audiobooks that you should definitely check out. I will keep on adding, or I will keep on making the next videos as I found more and more interesting audiobooks that you gonna enjoy, and probably everyone is gonna enjoy. If you are looking for more and more such audiobook app that you want to listen, then check out this video book where I shared the best audiobooks that you should check out. And if you want to check out the summary of the audiobook or the summary of the book, check out this video where I shared how to the best summary books that you should check out. So that's all for the today's video. See you in the next one. Bye bye, tata, take care.